Okay, so we have a couple of viewers' questions that they wanted to ask us and get like our opinion on. Maybe we have some advice for them. Maybe we in the same boat. We still learning from it too. So the first question is from our girl Tiffany in Miami, and she said, "How do you recognize that first step to moving forward emotionally and mentally?"
How do you recognize the first step to moving
Like
forward?
emotionally and mentally, like what gives you that push to like say like, all right, it's time to move on and move forward.
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
I'll take a swing.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Um, recognize that first step is when I feel like women, we're fighters. We fight for the things that we want. We want it to be successful. But I think you get to a point when you realize that you need to move forward is when you're tired of fighting and you don't have the energy or capacity to even want to put forth that type of effort to try. When you lose that willingness to even want to put forth effort to try and make things work out, it's time to go. If you're emotionally drained, where like other people's energy emotionally starts to really affect you as well, on top of what you're already going through, it's like you need to start checking on yourself and be like, is this an environment that I need to be in? And then when you start feeling that is everything is going against you being there still, it's time to move on.
That's damn near what I was gonna say. Is if that moment feeling like you don't have to fight it no more. That's for me. I felt that I just didn't have nothing else I could give. Like, all right, now it's time for me to build myself back up, to like pour back into myself. And I feel like I poured way too much, into that situation. I was completely drained. So I feel that's really the way.
I feel you on that. So we got another question from Asia in Houston, and she wants to know, how do you balance life when also dealing with heartbreak, especially when you have kids? Please answer this, because I feel like Vic about to give me a whole sermon, and I just want to feel it. Come on, girl. Come on, Pastor. Preach.
Okay, you gotta repeat the question one more time just so I can.
Yeah. How do you balance life when also dealing with heartbreak, especially when you have kids? So it's like I'm dealing with this heartbreak, but I still got these responsibilities on top of I got a kid that I got to take care of while also trying to check on my emotional health.
Okay, so for me, I had to, in the moments I have by myself, let all of that out. When you're alone and you have no kids and there's nobody else around and you feel like crying, you feel like yelling, screaming, cussing, let that shit out. If you let it out, wipe your tears, get back to business. You see what I'm saying? Because the more you hold it in, the worse it gets. Yeah, that's pretty much what I can say. That the more you hold it in, the worse it gets.
That's
So
so.
whenever you feel like you need a moment, take that moment. It's my time.
I feel
Take
that.
that
You
moment.
have anything to say on that, Drew?
Was that Domino? No.
I agree.
No.
Okay, what you think?
I agree. I was gonna ask what for you, what was a way that you were able to let out like some because
Go ahead over there.
everybody kind of release things differently. But for some people, I know for myself, it's hard for me to like allow myself to be in a vulnerable state like that sometimes. So like, what's a way that helped you get into that kind of space easier?
Yeah. Are you asking me? Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay. I'm sorry. Repeat that question. I
So
was following you and then.
what was a way that helped you allow yourself to release those emotions when you were alone? Like how, like what helped? What aided in that?
I started meditating. And then also too, I have a friend. I have a friend that's into like astrology and all that kind of stuff and candles and all that kind of stuff. And he taught me a way to like write stuff down, and then you can either burn it or you can rip it up, or you can. For me, I like water, so I'll go to like a place of flowing water and I'll put it in the water and just let that go. And in that
Yeah.
same moment, as I'm letting that go, I'll cry or I'll scream or whatever it is I need to do. Also, too, I smoke weed. So let's just throw that out there. Not gonna lie.
The weed helps because that's where I'm at right now. I smoke like I've been going for drives and smoking, and that's kind of been giving me a little bit of peace. Like, wow, he has my daughter. Like, I've been taking a little bit of time. I have gotten off of. I used to meditate a lot. I burn my sage and I work with my crystals, and even with astrology as well. So I've been doing a lot of that stuff, but I feel like I've gotten off of that. And I feel like the moments I get off of doing those type of things is when I fall into like the bullshit, and it's like that's where I'm at now. So it's like, all right, I gotta pick myself back up now and like get back into that.
Right. Let yourself have your moment, and then once you finally get that breath and you can just breathe, that's when you go, okay, now that I've gotten that out, time for me to put my big girl panties back on for
Mm-hmm.
me and get my responsibilities done. I mean, yeah, and for me it happens real randomly sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be days where like I'll wake up and just be so emotional and can't
Mm-hmm.
explain why, and I'm just crying every 5 minutes, and everybody's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
me not being able to explain it pisses me off even more because I want to explain what's wrong with me, but I can't because I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's wrong with me. And to other people, it's like, what the fuck you mean you don't know what's wrong with you? Like,
Right.
something's wrong. And I'm like, I know something's wrong. I can't, you know?
Get it? Like, yeah.
Alexis, no. I'll call her when I be like, I just don't know. I
But
just
it's
crying.
like I get it. Like in the beginning, I didn't get it. I was like, well, what happened? Like in my mind, I'm like, something happened and she's reacting. But I'm like, sometimes you can just have a breakdown and it's not necessarily because of one thing. It can just be like you're overwhelmed and it's just like you had to burst into tears. Like, and I get it though. I get it.
I just hate when it lasts all day. Like
Hmm.
okay, I wake up in the morning and I feel like that. Cool. Let me feel like that for like a good hour, maybe
Mm-hmm.
two, and then be done with it. I hate when
Yeah.
that shit lasts all fucking day. Then I can't. And then people be. I have like my brother and I have my friends who try to cheer me up. Be like, let's go to the park or let's go do something or come smoke with me, come smoke with your big bro. And I'll be trying to cheer up, but it's like sometimes that shit just be irritating even more.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to be around nobody, but I want to be around everybody. But I'm irritated and emotional, and I can't
Mm-hmm.
explain it. It is just a bunch of just bullshit.
Drew agreeing. Like, yep. It's like that
Mm-hmm.
You're like, it'd be like that.
You know, I've been like that today. I've been like that today. I like Leo.
Like I hung up the phone with Nate and my cousin Dre. I was like, let me get a minute. Let me gather myself. myself. And then
Oh,
like
man.
my playlist didn't help at all because the song that came on just made it worse. And I was like, okay.
Sometimes, okay, I love music. I love music, and sometimes I be trying to find the right song or the right playlist, and music just it don't be working. I be like, nope, 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 nope. I be like, damn, can I get one good one? Just
That's why I got
one good
four
one.
playlists. They all different and they all gonna hit something. Like, if I'm feeling romantic, I'm gonna play R&B playlist. If I'm feeling like I want to work or I want to get myself in a good mood or I'm in my feelings and I need some in my feelings songs, I'm gonna play my oldies playlist. And if I want to work out or I'm feeling really ratchet that day, I got my trap music playlist. I'm diverse.
See, I be going through different playlists in one day. Like in the morning, every morning, I play for a good 2 hours. I play gospel just to start my day off. And I got that from a coworker of mine because I used to ride to work with my coworker, and every morning on the way to work, it's a 30-minute drive. She'd have gospel music playing, and I noticed that on the days that I didn't ride to work with her and I didn't have that gospel music, it my day was off. My work
Hmm.
day was fucked up. So picking the tip off from her, I started playing gospel music for the first couple hours of my morning just to start my
Nice.
day off in a peaceful state.
You just
Y'all
reminded
going
me. I got a playlist that's called an uplifting playlist. And it's got a little bit of it's got a mixture of like gospel music, but just music that's uplifting. Like so that always works for me. Like anytime I'm feeling down, I play that playlist and the right song always comes on first. That's the tone. Okay.
I typically keep mine on shuffle. Any sad song that come on, let's just get it. Like I'm especially when I'm down, it's a mixture of gospel and like something trap, something to keep me upbeat, up going and stuff. Like, or I'll listen to a motivational speech. I know I try to do that every morning and before I go to bed.
I feel that.
Usually helps.
I got another question for us. Darren from the Bay wants to know what's a piece of advice you would give someone who is trying to find themselves again?
Meditating.
Elaborate if you can.
You said,
Um,
what is a piece of advice you would give somebody who's trying to find themselves again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Make a list of anything you want to do, anywhere you want to go, any idea you have, any goal, anything you that makes you happy. Write that shit down and then start checking that shit off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Take time for yourself, period. If you have a day off and you don't have no kids or nothing to do, go to the beach, go to the park, go hang out, go do something, go out and be happy. Play some music, go for a walk, do something to just uplift yourself because I'm telling you, you might find out you like to paint. You might find out you like fucking, I don't know, something, video design or something. You know what I mean? Like, go out and be just, I'm telling you, finding yourself is amazing because that's what I'm in the process of doing. And as you all can see, I have a genuine smile. Like, I haven't had a genuine smile in so long. And I'm finding out things about myself that I did not know, like things that I like, things that I don't like, places that I've been to places, I'm going places. Like,
Yes.
I'm telling you, anything you want to do, do it. If you want to buy something, buy it. Make yourself feel good and don't feel guilty about it.
I
That's
agree
my
with that.
advice.
I would
Yeah,
say
I
I'll go ahead, Drew.
I say, think about all the positive things. If you want to do lists, you should say thank God for the things that you do have. You have a roof over your head. You got clothes on your back. You wake up every morning, because there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of stuff out there that people don't have, and just think for the positive things. That stuff that you can walk, you can breathe. There's a lot of stuff out. Just be grateful, and you know do live life to the fullest. If you want to do this, then you can do it. Just think about the positive things after all the things that's out there, especially nowadays, that's negative.
Facts. One thing I always
You
try to
help.
when you're trying to find yourself, there are character traits that you have learned as you have developed into an adult. And it's interesting because I just had this conversation with somebody. You start to identify, maybe, for example, like you picked up a character trait from your parents or something, and you notice that it carried on into your adult life. The best thing that I always like to do is like write down a list of, because to remind myself, like, what do I love about myself? And also to make sure and pay attention if what I
Oh
love
yeah.
about myself is a longer list than what I don't like about myself. That's something you got to pay attention to as well, because that means you need to dive in a little deeper of why don't you love yourself? Because that list should go on and on about things that you love about yourself. But I always, when I'm looking at the things that I'm like, I can work on, I'm like, where did this issue within myself start? And I don't blame the person that I learned it from, but what I do is identify where it started so I can figure out how I can end it. So I always say, look for the root of the problem and not what's on surface level. Because if you just trimming what's on the surface level and it's still growing underground, you didn't fix the problem. You're going to repeat the same cycle until you learn how to pull it from out the dirt. So like that's what helps me is I do a list, and then I target what I don't like, and I also have to understand to be patient with myself. Like I'm not going to be like, okay, these are my problems. I figured out what my problems are. All right, I'm done. Like no, like you got to put in the work. Self love is, and working on yourself and finding yourself is not some pretty journey where you're skipping in a field full of flowers and it's beautiful. There are going to be times when it's ugly. You cried your ugliest, your eyes are baggy when you get up in the morning, you're trying to find the motivation to do your day-to-day tasks, like you don't want to talk to nobody, you start isolating yourself, like all that stuff. Like that's what is a part of the process of discovering who you are. But also, although it's very common for many people to go through that, you're able to share your experience with somebody else who might have went through the same exact symptoms that you did. You got any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question here. Hold on a second. Bring it back up. So this question is from Elena in Denver. And she wants to know, how do you move forward with a friend who you become romantic with and they've broken your trust due to a lack of honesty and communication?
Victoria.
How do we do that one?
You said you will?
Huh?
I thought you said you'll do that one.
Oh no, I was saying, how do you do that one? Because that's something I'm honestly still trying to figure out. Because I feel like it's not so. If the friend is the one that kind of broke that bond between y'all, or broke that connection between y'all, it's ultimately in their hands to. It's them who has to reconcile. Like, if you've done it, and this is because of you.
Yeah. You made your bed.
It's all on that person. Huh?
It's like you made your bed, so now it's time for you to lie in it. And I guess some advice that I could give is you have to know if that friend is willing and wanting to move forward and fix what has been cracked or what has completely been shattered and broken. Because if they don't, then you need to kind of come to terms with you might not get that reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
They might not deserve that reconciliation. And if they're not showing you that they care about you just as much as you care about them and are considering them in certain moves you take, then that lets you know enough that they don't value you, they don't value your friendship, and they don't respect you. And if you're not respected or wanted, your presence can be gone just like that. And sometimes you don't understand until you lose. Till you lose something, you don't know how good you have it.
Don't know what you got until it's gone.
Hello.
Discernment to know, is it something that can be fixed, or is it something where it's just going to be me putting in the work?
Ooh.
That's when it's like when it's me doing all the work, then that's when I can't do it. I can't be the one putting in 100 and you ain't even giving me 1%. Like no, that's when you really gonna have to listen when I'm gone. Definitely no.
This is like that analogy that I always say, you trying to give somebody breadcrumbs and expect them to make a whole meal. Like, that's
No,
not,
no.
like, that's not helping the situation. That's not you putting forth the effort to show that you want to grow.
Mhm. There ain't no point in being around me if you is not trying to grow within yourself, within a unit, friends, relationships, whatever. Don't be around me if you ain't trying to elevate yourself to the next level on anything.
Because forget the entanglement. Like, it's almost like you have to, like, if you realize you have to move forward and there's no fixing it, not only do you have to mourn the romance of it, but it's almost like you kind of got to mourn the friendship too.
Yeah.
It can be a double whammy.
And that it is.
Fact.
Yeah, I agree.
Anybody?
I
Go ahead.
agree. I understand.
You said
I've
what?
had for a long time, but can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Hmm.
I said I understand. I had a friend for a long time, a very long time, and then you know what happened? They said that one last thing that didn't sit right with me, and I already had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and they wasn't there. So you know what? I just blocked them off. It became amnesia because it was already a lot of stuff going on. It was just nothing left. It was just like, yeah, we had our good days back in the day, but then, I had a lot of good days with a lot of people, and that was the one that I trusted the most, and it just went away. So I just, you gotta let it go like the wind. I guess. I don't know what to say.
No, I understand it. So the next question is from our boy Jason in Dallas, and they need a tip on moving forward from someone after they have disrespected you.
Say that one more time.
This viewer needs a tip on how to move forward from someone who has disrespected you.
Someone like who? Anybody? Like you gotta be. Am I
You
being
could be,
ratchet or am I being professional?
you could be,
Am I dealing
you
with
could
a
be
family
family
member
member.
or dealing with somebody off the street? Like
You could be a friend. Say somebody that you know and that you are close to. It doesn't have to necessarily be a romantic partner. It could be your family member, your friend.
For for me, I've dealt with a romantic partner and a friend been disrespectful. And honestly, with both, I just stepped away. Like, I can't do anything in a situation. I'm not going to, as much as I would want to sit here and fight you or sit here and cut you out, like I'm not gonna give you that type of energy from me. And that's what you're just trying to do. You're trying to get that negative energy from me. I can't. For my sake, for my peace, I can't go there with you. So for me, I'm just gonna walk away. You want to be disrespectful, you can be disrespectful, but you're gonna be the person coming back needing someone. And when you need me, I'm not gonna be there. That's going to be on you. So I just walk away. Like it's nothing else to be said. I have no explanation to give to you. Oh, you disrespected me. This is. No, you can't. It's no more. You can't get that from me at this point. Like we're closed off.
Facts. I always think it's all about reflection. So, um, how to move forward from somebody disrespecting you, you learning how to move forward from disrespecting yourself. Because I'm only gonna let somebody disrespect me to a degree that I've disrespected myself. And at the end of the day, they only gonna lead by my example of how to treat me. And they can choose whether or not to respect with the standards that I hold, or they can walk over me just like I'll be walking over myself. So you got to look at to what degree are you allowing people to disrespect you, because that's some work you need to work on yourself, and that's why you're devaluing yourself. Because people need to respect you, especially if you're respecting them.
Definitely.
You agreeing with that, Drew?
Yep. I hear you. I just say, I agree.
Did you have an answer for that, Vic?
I'm sorry. I was lightweight dying, so I missed the question.
It's okay. You lost your line. It's all right. They needed a tip on how to move forward from someone after being disrespected by them.
See, my maturity level has uh gone up. Because when I was younger, I would be the one to cuss you out and cause a scene and be like, fuck you. Blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm going to let you say your piece. I'm going to let you let your shit out. And then I'm going to let it go. It is what it is.
Facts. Because the older ladies would have been like, I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to today, but
Like, I don't want to. You trying to throw these hands or what? Because, yeah.
fight me. Once
Catch me
upon,
outside. Nah.
but we've grown so much.
Honestly, having my baby has made a very big difference in my life. Like, as far as how I respond to certain situations, because of I think I'd be a little bit more childish if I didn't have a baby. I'm not gonna lie.
I for sure would.
Just because I am a big kid at heart, just because I'm a big kid at heart, you know what I mean? If I didn't have a kid of my own to make me grow the fuck up, basically, I'd be in a whole different. I'd be in a whole different space. So I honestly, I thank God, and I'm glad it's a girl, because my little boy, my boy would have been clown goofing off together.
Mhm.
But my daughter has me thinking differently and moving. Because my girl, that's a queen, black queen growing up. You know what I mean? You got to move a little bit differently. You know what I mean? You got to teach her things differently than you would a boy. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's a whole different ball game. With boys, you gotta worry about a whole different aspect. With girls, you gotta worry about like hormones and pregnancies and boys and fucking all kind of shit. They deal with their first heartbreak, all kind of shit.
Dude, that's boys too. That gotta worry about these little thought boxes.
But see, dealing with a boy heartbreak and dealing with a girl heartbreak are completely different.
You know, some dudes be in their 20s and 30s and still sour about a heartbreak from 5th grade.
That's cool. But what I'm saying is like with like boys, especially like teenage boys, when they get their first heartbreak, they go out. Not saying it's a good thing, but they go out and they move on. They be like, oh, it's plenty of fish in the sea, whatever. Girls, they be like, suck it up, suck it up, you're young.
Right.
That ain't it. That's not where life is. There's so much more. Like
Okay.
not saying go out and be a hoe, but there's fucking options. Damn it.
I know. We got a question from Brianna from the ATL. It's a little more spicy. She wants to know if your partner isn't sexually satisfying you, what's a creative way to ease up in the bedroom?
If your partner isn't satisfying you sexually, what is a what?
What's a creative way to spice things up in the bedroom? I'm gonna take a swing. First of all, you need to find out their sexual number. How freaky are they? Let me test your freakometer. From a scale of 1 to 10.
How do you wait.
Let me test
What is a freakometer? Explain that.
freakometer.
Wait, let me get a pen and paper and write this down. Just kidding. What?
A freakometer.
Oh, it's
gonna let me know.
That's perfect.
A freakometer is gonna let me know how far I can explore with you. If you're a 6, I'm not gonna do nothing like with bondage. Not that saying I would, but you get my point.
Okay, so
If I'm a 9 and he's a 6, it might be a little different. Like I think the way to compromise.
But is there a scale? Is there like a 1 to 10? Is it like a 1 to 20? It's
1
just
to
a 1 to
10.
10?
110.
Okay, so how do you get your numbers? How do you how do you test that? What do you do? Like how do you get a 5?
I mean, you're just rating yourself, but you're rating yourself from a scale of like, how open-minded am I in the bedroom? Like that's like the perspective you have to look at it as. So for me,
So what? Is there like a quiz you take and you ask and there's questions you ask?
there are quizzes, but you could generally just give yourself a guess of like, I'd say this is like my freak level. Everybody knows the freak level. Let's be real.
I honestly I don't know my freak level. I don't not gonna
What are
lie.
some things you wouldn't do?
Huh?
That are absolute. What are some things that are like absolute no for you?
Ain't nothing going up my ass. That's it. Like, ain't nothing going up my ass. Like everything else, we can talk about it, but ain't nothing going up my ass.
I was watching. I don't remember what I was watching, but I was watching something, and it was like my best friend called it a butt bead. I was like, "What the fuck are butt beads?" Did you say butt beads?
Booty beads, yeah. The shitty beads.
That's nasty. Like, what the fuck is a butt plug? Why do you need your ass plug? Like, I mean,
Because it gives you, apparently it does things for some people.
yeah, no, that's out. That's out. You do anything towards my asshole, Be prepared to get kicked in the chin.
Having a finger up there is one thing, but putting something up there that's bigger than a finger, no.
No fingers, no toys, no butt beads, no butt plugs, none of that shit.
It can be satisfying when they're, tickling down there while giving you head. It can be very satisfying.
Nope, that's out. That's all the way
Have you
out,
ever
bro.
tried it?
Somebody tried to put their finger in my ass and got kicked in the chin. That's why I said that's out. That's out.
Do you think you were in shock? That's why you kicked them though? Because sometimes people are in shock when they go down there because it's like, whoa, like everybody's sensitive about their ass.
It was so quick. It was so quick, and after I kicked him, I was like, ooh, I didn't mean to kick you. Don't stick your finger in my eye. That's out. I mean, the night was kind of ruined after that because I kicked him, but I mean,
You was traumatized.
you gotta have these questions. Had he had a conversation with me, you understand? I could have explained to him that I don't do anything in my ass. It's just that's out.
Yeah, this is why you get
Only thing,
disclaimers
as far
before
as
you
my
do it.
ass is concerned, I'm sorry. As far as my ass is concerned, the only thing that can be done to it is it being slapped. That's it. You can't stick nothing in my ass. I'm sorry, it's not happening. It's not happening.
To answer the question, you need to figure out what your partner's sex level is and figure out how far they'll go for things to be done to them and how far they'll go for things that they can do to you. And when you express like, hey, I like this type of stuff, can you do this on me? Like some guys, for example, let's say you want toys, like you want a vibrator incorporated or a little bullet incorporated in your little
all the terms and shit. Like, what the fuck do you do?
like a little tiny bullet, like a like a vibrating bullet that's
Your shit is like a 12, huh?
a little vibrating bullet. Like some people like that. So you just got to figure out how far they'll go to please you and for them to allow you to please them. Once you figure that out, goes together. Everybody got it because your partner ain't got to be the same sex level as you.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're talking to what is one of the weirdest things somebody has requested from you during sex or sexualized? Like, because I was talking to this guy one time. What was the weirdest thing someone has asked of you? I was talking to this one guy, and he asked if he could pee inside of me. And it was like it was the most nastiest thing I've ever heard. Like, I've never heard of anybody ever like thinking of doing some stuff like that as a way to turn them on.
He asked you if he could pee inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of nasty shit? No.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I never that would have never came across my mind for somebody to sit
Like,
there.
what disease are you trying to insert?
What are you thinking about?
I want to know.
Huh?
What disease are you trying to insert inside of me, sir?
Like what is that? Like, I've never, it's been some strange things I've known some people are into.
I don't recall at this moment in time being asked something weird. It's been mutual if I've been asked something. I don't think because it would be weird to a degree depending on what you're putting up there. But ain't nobody really. Because I make it very clear what is off limits and what's on limits.
I mean, I'm an open-minded person to a certain extent.
You said what?
I can be an open-minded person to a certain extent. Like I can do like blindfolds
Mm-hmm.
and straps, little shit like that. Anything beyond that? When you start talking about butt plugs and shit like that, that's out. Oh, I was gonna say, so y'all were talking about sex levels and numbers and all that. Actually, my best friend Michelle had me take a test. It's like a BDSM test or BSM. I don't know.
But I haven't taken it yet.
Yeah, that will tell you shit like if you're like submissive or dominant, or and then it goes into like extra detail there. And it can that also too can be like a way to tell how freaky you are and shit like that too. Turns out I'm like 50% submissive and 50% dominant, which is kind of true.
I'm gonna laugh if I'm more dominant than submissive. I'm gonna laugh.
Honestly, I feel like you're gonna be
I feel like I'm
fucking
gonna be more submissive though,
yeah.
because I like to be, you know.
So like, are y'all into like how do y'all feel about like being slapped and shit while having sex? Like that's out. Like if they like slapped you in your face and was like, yeah,
Oh,
bitch, you
slap me
like
in my face. That's it. We're not about to continue on. I'm about to turn around and beat your ass. Slap me if you want to. Only thing you should be slapping is his ass. That's like,
right, that's what I'm saying. Like
Piecing your
nah.
jaw.
Bruh, you slap me, we fighting for real.
I'm like, excuse me, who are you slapping?
Like, oh,
There's only one thing. There's only one thing you slap.
that
you
part.
kiss these hands, bro.
For real.
That's why I don't understand how people like getting spit in the mouth.
Spit in the mouth.
Some people like get spit in their mouth.
You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
about to do that. You're not about to do that. And you know
Uh,
what? They be over there with the moogies. I seen some memes like that, and they be with them freaking like no, you're not about to do that and think you're about to just sit there and spit in my mouth like that. That's nasty as hell. I don't even like to be off of people. I'm not about to allow you to fucking spit in my mouth.
I ain't gonna get into too much detail, but you know, some people don't like getting spit when they getting head.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't want to hear it, don't want to see it. Like just
But I thought that's what was the turn on of it. Like, let me hear you be messy, like all of that.
like who
what's it
want to hear a
down?
loud spit? And because in my mind, I'm like, what if that's a loogie? You know.
Yeah.
So we got one more question. And the question is, how do you balance parenting and life outside of parenting?
That I absolutely cannot answer because I'm a mama 24/7, even when my baby ain't here.
What'd you say?
I am
The question,
mommy and friend.
the question
No.
was, how do you balance parenting and life outside of parenting?
Once you become a parent, you're never not a parent. Like
Yeah.
whether your baby with you or not, like you, like
So maybe how do you create time for yourself while being a parent? Let's put it that way. Because we know
I have
you're a
time at
parent.
night. I have my free time when she goes to sleep. I try to give myself at least 30 minutes to an hour to myself, like when she sleeps, to do whatever it is that I didn't do while she was up, whatever I need to do for myself. That's my time, like 10:30. She goes to sleep. About 11 o'clock, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that can be anything. That could be like reading, writing, fucking dancing, working out. That could be whatever you choose to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh my god,
Absolutely.
it's cold.
Okay. One thing I always say, I'm not a mama yet. Just never lose who you are by being so consumed. You know what I'm saying? Because you're always going to be a part of every step of your child's life, but never forget who you are and some of the things you like to do. It may not be as easy to jump and do them, but you can plan to do them in the future. I think that's what I've noticed the difference is as a parent, y'all got to plan
You go
a
back
lot
there, please.
further in advance when you want to do
Mhm.
something that you like to do. So I would say stick, like really dedicate yourself to like do something you love, but schedule it. You know what I'm saying? Like schedule it for the future and not necessarily last minute unless you got it like that where you can. You know what I'm saying? Like you need like a little 2 day vacation. You know, everybody can't do 3 days, but but if you want to do a 2 day vacation, you can do that. If you're like, I don't want to be too far either, we'll find something that's close by or fly somewhere that you can get there in 45 minutes to and fro.
Oh, I know you're trying to get my mommy go their ways.
I know Texas just waiting for your ass.
I know. It's gonna be soon.
I know. Like August, September. I can't wait.
Well, you can see that little small one I'm working on.
What's that? Was that the volume?
Yeah, it's much better with the acid.
I've never seen a bath bomb. I never seen it. I'm actually kind of intrigued.
Yes.
But
Interesting.
we can we can stay on after. But thank you guys so much for joining in on this sister circle conversation. I hope that it helped some of our viewers out there that are going through certain things, and I hope you even got a good laugh in because we goofy as hell when we get together. So that's it for this episode.